Felixstowe, as well as older people in Felixstowe. And this morning we're going to be focusing on the younger generation. Now, there's quite a few organisations in Felixstowe that provide facilities for younger people. And I have with me this morning Josh Hunt, who is leading Boost, which is one of the organisations that do things for young people. So Josh, welcome to Felixstowe TV and Felixstowe Matters. And I think the first thing I'd want to ask you is, what is Boost?
Well, Boost is one of the organisations in the town that works with young people. We cater for 11 to 18s, and Boost was started in August 2000, so we're now 12 years old, which is quite significant. Yeah. And it was a project started by local church, and Boost has evolved over the years. At the moment, we have a youth cafe on Orwell Road in the town centre, which is the focus of a lot of our activities, but we cater for 11 to 18s in and around Felixstowe.
Is that all 11 to 18s?
Anyone
at all, yeah. Because Boost, as you say, originally started as a church organisation, so is it generally well supported by local churches?
We are significantly supported by local churches, yeah, and Boost has evolved over the years. So Boost originally started as a series of town-wide events, eventually changing into the Boost bus, which you may remember, which parked around town at Skate Park Leisure Centre and at Deeburn High School, and we've come to where we are today with Boost headquarters.
Yeah, great. Yes, because I can remember years ago I used to be involved in bus ministry in Norfolk, and one of the things about bus ministries is it's fantastic being able to take a huge vehicle around town. You know, it really grabs people's attention, and it's fantastic until you start getting the repair bills on the thing. And that was it. And I think, if I recall correctly, the Boost bus looked impressive, but it was very elderly, and eventually it's gone. I think it went to the scrapyard, didn't it?
It did. It was squashed into a square of metal.
Yeah. So I think the actual youth cafe that you've got now coincided with your arrival, didn't it?
It did.
Into Boost, yes. So the cafe itself is Boost headquarters on Orwell Road.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about how that started and how you're getting on.
Well, the idea for Boost headquarters came when the bus was squashed into its square of scrap metal, and we were trying to reevaluate what we're about, who we're for, and we learned from the bus that it was fantastic to have our own location where young people could come and take part in various activities. Unfortunately for the bus, they had the thing like the maintenance bills that you were talking about, and also the fact of just getting it started, getting it ready, and we thought having a physical property where you could just open the door and everything was set up is by far the easiest way to run a youth cafe ministry like what we do now. And so we were searching for various properties in the town, and 12 Orwell Road was really good value, good position, and it just suited our needs perfectly. So we opened in October 2011. The Mayor, Doreen Savage, opened and cut the ribbon, and that's where it came from.
I remember the day well. It's a great cafe, though. I've got to say, having been in there, I might add as a visitor rather than a client. I must say, I'm a bit too. I'm far off being an 11 to 16 now, but having been inside, it's a fantastic facility, isn't it? I mean, and I think what I liked about it doesn't look youthy. In other words, battered and dog-eared in any way. And that's the thing about it, isn't it? You had aimed to try and make it to be something that's a kind of a cool place, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't have the biggest of budgets to spend on kitting it out. And we're really thankful to the Suffolk Foundation and the Port Community Fund for helping us to fund the initial start-up of the cafe. But we tried to create a look that was really good value, but also really appealing to young people.
Yes, I mean, I think it's something like more like the interior of, let's say, Costa's or Cafe Nero than the sort of Bert's Cafe or something like that, isn't it?
Well, when you open a town centre venue that's frequented by 11 to 18-year-olds, and we did get a fair bit of media coverage and excitement around the town, the last thing you want is to open the door and it looks a mess. It looks really badly done. So we tried to create a really good look there.
Yeah, I must say the nice thing about Boost HQ is that anybody walking along the street can actually peer in and actually see what's going on, and also see that it is quite a nice place. I think you're trying to generate an image, which I think is quite positive for certainly 11 to 16s these days. Image is very important for that particular age group, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And because of the way that Boost is designed, young people respect that venue as well. So they'll always help us clear up at the end and things like that. So they do respect the venue for what it is.
Great. So what actually goes on in Boost headquarters?
At Boost headquarters, as well as myself, we have a big team of volunteers, many of those drawn from local churches, who help to support our open access clubs. So we have after school clubs which currently happen on a Tuesday, a Thursday and a Friday, and they run between 3 and 5 p.m. So it bridges that gap between when school ends and when parents typically get home from work. So it gives young people a place to come where they can interact with volunteers who really care about their welfare and their development. And we also have an evening cafe that runs on a Friday. So that's from 7:30 until 9 o'clock. And that gives somewhere for the older teenagers to come along if they haven't got anywhere else to be on a Friday evening.
That's great. And you do the odd special occasion and that sort of thing as well, don't you?
We do. We also have various things like talent nights and things where we really want to help young people to showcase their musical talent. So we have some one-off events as well.
Oh, right. You must video them at some point and put them on the Felixstowe TV, and because we do have some quite talented young people here in Felixstowe, don't we? And from various kinds of backgrounds and things. Do you tend to find that the young people that come to Boost HQ are from all over town, or do they tend to be mostly young people that live near the town centre?
It's a mixture, actually. There are young people who it literally takes them 30 seconds to walk home from the cafe, but there are young people whose parents are very kind in giving them lifts and picking them up and bringing friends, some coming from Trimley, Curtin, Walton, so it's a good mixture.
Do you tend to find it's also a good place to go because then the kids aren't hanging around town or anything? There's something sort of useful for them to do.
Yeah, I mean, some young people enjoy hanging around town. I know the Triangle is a little hotspot, but it does give them somewhere warm where they can come in, and there's free Wi-Fi. We have a tuck shop, there's game consoles, as well as our fantastic team of volunteers for them to engage with and talk to if they want to speak about anything that's troubling them. So it does give them somewhere to come to, as you said. Yeah,
and there's also typical cafe kind of things in there, aren't they? Like I've tried your coffee and tea machine. It's pretty good, but also snacks and soft drinks and all that sort of thing as well. Yeah. So it's. I think the term that's used is they like to chill. I don't feel like an old person there. They like to chill there, and there it is. But your work you're particularly pointed as a town-wide youth worker, aren't you? Yes. So you do things outside of Boost HQ as well, don't you?
I do. So as well as Boost HQ, a kind of second aspect of Boost is our schools work. Yeah. So we run a number of faith-based projects with Felixstowe Academy. One of those is a discussion group on a Friday lunchtime about Christianity and how it's relevant to young people in the 21st century. And also we run a prayer space project, which is designed as an interactive room where there are different stations where young people can engage with prayer and spirituality. So that's been a really interesting and really exciting project to start running at Felixstowe Academy. And as well as that, we also want to help local churches to build their own youth work. So rather than everything being about Boost, we want to help local churches to serve their particular part of Felixstowe. And so we help River of Life Church run a project called Boost at Stargazers, and that runs every Thursday evening at their church for the young people in that particular part of the town. And last term we helped St Mary's in Walton to run a Youth Alpha course, which is a kind of no pressure 12-week introduction to Christianity. So that was really fun as well.
Yeah, great. Because I think that one thing that Boost is, it has a distinctive about it, doesn't it? Because obviously there's lots of different kinds of youth organisations here in Felixstowe, but there's a real distinctive, isn't there, as far as Boost is concerned, that it's a Christian organisation. So what do you really feel that Boost brings that really is different to anything else that goes on in town for people of that age?
I think Boost really makes use of the fact that we're a project supported by local church. Nationwide, the church employs 75,000 youth workers, which is more than any other charity or government organisation. So the church has something really valuable to bring to young people today. And there are a massive number of churches in Felixstowe, more than 20, I guess. And with all of those congregations, there is a significant opportunity to serve young people. And that's what we've tried to do. Where churches are really struggling to maybe set up their own youth club, we've kind of helped to make that happen. The Youth Alpha course is a fantastic introduction to Christianity for young people who haven't been brought up in a church setting, or who don't know what it means to be a Christian today. But like I said, all of our projects are open to any young people, and there's absolutely no pressure. It's not the Christian faith isn't something we're going to force on anyone. We're not going to bring it up in conversation if there's absolutely no need for it. So all of our projects are open to anyone, faith or no faith.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, because obviously a large number of people are actually involved in volunteering for helping with Boost, but you kind of head it up, don't you, being the youth worker. So obviously I don't know of anybody who ever wanted to be a youth worker. I can't remember at school anybody saying, "Oh, I'd love to become a youth worker when I leave school." How did you fall into being a youth worker?
It was a number of things. When I was younger, I'd always wanted to be a doctor. That's what I'd set my sights on. That's what my school told me I should be. But because medicine is such a long course, I was looking at 5 to 6 years at university. I thought I really need to take a gap year so I still have some kind of sanity by the time I've reached the end. And I decided to do a gap year with a charity called XLP in London. And so I moved down to Peckham, and I was involved in a number of youth work projects on local estates, in schools. They had a double-decker bus project as well. And it really opened my eyes to the world of youth work, and I thought, actually, do I want to spend the next 5 or 6 years at university studying to become a doctor, or do I really want to do youth work? And after a long time of thinking about this, I decided youth work is what I really wanted to do.
Yeah. So what do you have to do to become a youth worker then? What sort of training did you actually have to go through?
Well, at the time I was thinking about this, youth work was really being pushed as a professional career choice, and they were really emphasising the degree. So I did a degree in youth work and ministry with Oasis College in London, which I graduated from, and that really gave me a whole wealth of knowledge and expertise and practice, because I was doing a placement whilst I was at university in how to do youth work and to do it well, to do it professionally, and how to do that as part of a local church. So I did learn lots from that, and that gave me the qualifications, if you like, to be able to head up a ministry like Boost.
Yeah, because obviously for you, what was important wasn't just the youth work, but the fact, the motive behind which you were doing it, which is obviously that you're a Christian, yeah. And you did it, and you've actually done it with specifically that angle in mind. So, as far as Christian faith is concerned, how did you come about that?
I became a Christian when I was about 8 years old. And that was from a life of growing up in the church. There was just a particular day where it all clicked, it all kind of made sense. I'm not really sure how that happened, but it did, and it's really been inspirational and motivational for everything that I've done in my life. And I think it really has something to bring to young people. The Christian faith is for all generations. So it's something that is a massive part of my life, and I wouldn't be where I am without it.
Yeah, because I think as far as young people are concerned, I think I've always found one of the distinctives, particularly for growing up as a young person, because I came from a very similar kind of background to you, because I know your parents are both Christians, and you were brought up in a church environment, and I was brought up in a church environment, okay. And it might have been probably 30 or 40 years earlier than you, but these days I think it's so important to be brought up with some kind of reference point in life, isn't it? In terms of, for a lot of young people, they're trying to find out, well, what is life about? What's my life about? And to have that reference point as a Christian, I found immensely important when I was growing up, because you can hang your values around it and that sort of thing. And but more importantly is just coming into a relationship with God and realising that you start off in life young with a relationship with God. It's just remarkable where it takes you, and certainly in terms of your experience of God and that sort of thing, as well as your experience of life, isn't it?
Absolutely, and there isn't a day that goes by where that I don't have a conversation with someone at Boost about life, death, social problems, family problems, the meaning of life, and they're not conversations that have been instigated by me. They are things that young people just bring up as soon as they walk through the door. And I'm not saying that the Christian faith has all the answers, and it takes a long time to work out what it means in real life, but as you said, it's significant in helping us to deal with those things and to explore those things from the reference point of Christianity.
Yeah. Yes, I've always found being a Christian doesn't make me immune from all the problems that everybody else has in life, but it certainly changes how I actually approach those things. And you can either approach things and be very pessimistic about them, or approach things and be very positive about them. And being a Christian makes you very positive about how you deal with things in life. And if you can do that from a young age, it doesn't half help. And you're actually a Suffolk lad yourself, aren't you?
I am, yes. I was brought up in Woodbridge, and my parents moved to Felixstowe when I was 16. So I've gone to university and moved back, which isn't something that happens a lot. But I'm really pleased that I did.
Yes. I think the thing about Felixstowe, very unfortunately, is that young people are brought up here, and they start to contribute to here, and then what happens is they go to university, never to return, which is really quite sad, actually. But they actually, I wouldn't say they never return. What happens is eventually they come back as a more mature family with children or something like that, or maybe they even retire here. But
absolutely. Well, if you look at the census data for Felixstowe, there is a significant drop once people reach the age of 18, and a significant rise once people reach the age of 30. And so there's this kind of gulf between young and old, and I think that is a real struggle for young people who live in Felixstowe. And you can sometimes feel the tension in town between groups of younger people and groups of older people.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I'm so keen for volunteers to help out at Boost is because it bridges this gap between young and old, and that's really important for their development. It's something that's modelled very well in church, is that you have people of all ages coming together, and that's something we try and model about Boost, that actually young people need to feel valued by adults in the town, and so we try and bring the two together.
Yeah, I think that's quite good as well, because I generally find with young people, once they get exposure to older people, actually they tend to have a quite positive relationship, particularly as most of the older people are old enough to be their grandparents, or these days their great-grandparents. And I find they probably struggle most with people my sort of age or slightly younger who are old enough to be their parents, and that's a different kind of relationship, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And people often say to me, Josh, I'm too old to be involved in youth work, I'm not cool enough, I'm not trendy enough. And I think, excellent, you're the perfect candidate then.
Yes, because I agree with you there.
So much wisdom and life experience, so much to discuss with a teenager who's just starting out on their journey of life. So.
Yeah, I know for young people, they accept that actually older people aren't cool. And that's fine, that's okay. I always find what they can never stand is anybody who tries to be cool, who's getting older. I've got two children now in their 20s, and they find me so cool because I like dance music. I love dance music, I love house, and I have it blaring away at home. I say, Dad, have you got to listen to that stuff? Yes, I quite enjoy it. Well, sorry, I'm afraid. Okay, it might not be cool for me to do, but that's it. Just don't try to be anything that you're not.
Absolutely. I tried to be cool for a bit, but it doesn't last long because young people see right through it. They know what's genuine and what isn't.
You just got to be yourself, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, what of the future, Josh? I mean, obviously you've been working now for a while here at Boost, but truth is, with youth workers, you kind of get old enough to be parents yourself, and that does change the dynamics sometimes, doesn't it? When you're dealing, when you really are truly old enough to be their parent. At the moment, you're not old enough to be their parents. You're actually old enough to be, somebody who can relate to that age. As you get older, do you see yourself as being a youth worker for a number of years and then going on to something else, or where do you see yourself going?
I'm not sure at the moment. Obviously, when I was younger, I had my eyes set on being a doctor, so I've kind of learned through that experience in life just to to explore every avenue, to see how things go, and not to write your plans in concrete too early on. So I'm doing a master's degree at the moment in pastoral ministry, which is a really good addition to my youth work qualification in helping me to explore how theology relates to people and how that relates to church and ministry. So that's really exciting that I'm working on at the moment alongside my full-time job with Boost. So there are a number of avenues, and Boost may evolve again as it has done in the past. So there are lots of opportunities.
It always does. Youth work is like a lot of other things. Church, you've either got to adapt or shrivel up. Really, got to reinvent yourself every 5 years or something like that. So there it is. Yes. So we're going to close in a minute. So just I thought let's do a recap. Firstly, Boost is for any young person between 11 and 18, and just simply you can go along to any of the activities, whether that's out at River of Life, or whether that's at Felixstowe Academy, or whether it's at the Boost HQ Cafe. All the information about Boost can be found on
www.boostfelixstowe.org.uk. That is the best place to go.
Yes, certainly is, because you keep that website relatively well up to date. I know I do.
Best.
I do look at it occasionally, so to see what's going on, because obviously I've got one or two young people from my own church actually go to Boost regularly, and they speak very, very kindly of it. So that's
it'd be awkward otherwise.
That's absolutely excellent. And obviously, people who are interested in volunteering and that sort of thing, then it's up to them to contact you again through the website. Probably a good point of contact. And there we are. Okay. Well, Josh, thanks very much for coming on today. And do keep us. Well, I'm sure we'll have you in again to talk about anything new happening as far as Boost is concerned. So thank you. And thank you all for watching this video.